Welcome to another session with Liberate University. I'm Kimberlie. Thank you. So I heard when I was walking in that Christina already began kind of talking about the concept of karma yoga, Karuna, which we call compassionate action. One interesting thing I'd like to state is I'm just about myself and what I do here at the store and why you guys are listening to me talk at all. I work here as an energy healing practitioner. So I work 100% in the subtle realm. So there's a difference between taking action dynamically on the physical level and also working within subtle energy realm. And that's where I come in. So also doing speeches and articulating like metaphysical concepts can be a little ephemeral at times and hard to understand with the mind. So I was hoping I could kind of share a little bit about what I do here at the store. So if anyone was interested in booking a session or visiting a meditation with me here, you'll have an understanding of what I do. And then I can take you through an experience of the 0 point field. So the 0 point field is, it's what I do. It's what I work in with as far as Karuna and Karma Yoga. And it's basically the transmuting of two polarities. So again, this is quantum physics when I speak of it energetically, but in the world, what it ends up doing on a physical level is it helps to balance extremes that we see in society when it comes to pretty major things. It can come to, you know, I'm not saying war, but stuff like disagreements, differences of opinions, even imbalances in our physical, emotional, and mental self. So transmuting is something that brings to balance two polarities. So that's basically the idea of karma. And I believe full-heartedly that's why we as souls are all here on this planet, to balance karma. It's a journey of kind of, as the Buddha says, coming to the middle path, which is basically the 0 point field. And you'll hear me comment probably a few times on the 0 point field. And it's called, it's known by many names. It's known by basically divine love, creation. It's not creation itself, but it's the source, the point of creation. And it's an energy that when ultimately we're doing Karuna, which is karma yoga or compassionate action, by giving back either in simple ways, whatever brings us joy, higher levels of expression through art, singing, writing, volunteering. We do service here every Tuesday, giving back. It balances two polarizing energies to bring everything to 0 point field. So we're not really doing anything. You don't have to control other people and wish other people. That's a different way. That's the old paradigm way of trying to shift people from the physical realm. This, through energy, we shift people through the energy realm, which is where energy begins, at the source. So I hope that makes some sense, and please ask me questions and I'll do my best to explain. I think what would be amazing is if I could, if it's okay with Christina, because I didn't mention I was going to do this, but I like to give you guys like an experience of the 0 point field, because it's hard to conceptualize, but when you're there, you'll know and you'll feel it. And what it feels like, and it's a heart energy, but it's an energy that brings you to support, 100% support, divine, it's the energy of divine love, source consciousness. Again, more like big words that can be hard to understand because it's different. It's not human attachment. The heart is designed to expand. It's infinite. And I think when we are able to be fully, as a collective, which we're all in a collective at this moment, in that space of the heart, it's a space where we will experience the energy of the oneness, that oneness energy of the all. And that is karma yoga in an energy form. So it's one of those things too, like I didn't hear Christina's whole talk, but I kind of understood the gist of what she was saying. I feel like, in our current times, we're getting more involved in things that are important to us by nature of what we don't want first, We're noticing, oh, I don't like this. I don't like what's happening in politics around the world, in my own backyard. So we're getting involved, but it still becomes a polarizing energy of resistance. Okay, yeah, this feels right. Of us against, us against, us against. Those are polarities. The idea of Karuna and Karma yoga, yoga as we know is union. It's not just hatha yoga, downward dogs, it's union, it's spiritual union. So when we release resistance and we energetically or through compassionate action doing something we love without any expectations in return. I mean, I was talking to a friend about this. I was like, on my path like of great suffering, it just goes like of great suffering. Just, I noticed it felt a lot like being ignored a lot. Like being in this city we live in with thousands of people, surrounded by people, but nobody notices you there. And I tended to connect with people that I felt were disenfranchised. I felt maybe because I also felt disenfranchised. That's what I resonated with and who I related to. So as I began to become more empowered in my own journey and understand the concepts and the compassionate action that goes into work, being a healer, not just working as a healer, but being an instrument, a divine instrument means the word, we use it a lot in healing, connecting to source, to the earth, and showing up as an instrument of in peace, in love. And it could be something as simple as not being reactive when somebody is upset with you, or driving, not being reactive, just being in that peaceful place. I know, like for me, people in the service industry, people we order food from at Starbucks, it's so easy for something there to like ruin the day and be annoyed. I used to be very sensitive. If someone was in a bad mood, it would upset me. But being an instrument would just kind of mean you emanate them. We jokingly say, just bless them, bless them, send them love, send them light. And that might seem easy until you're in it and you're like, but that was hurtful. That was, they weren't, kind to me. No, everyone's suffering. And if someone shows up in that way, it has nothing to do with us. But what we can do is take that responsibility and be in our heart center. You can even, something I do in a open heart meditation practice, gently tap your heart. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't have to be funny about it. Just, you're bringing your consciousness to your heart center. And it's easier to check in with ourselves and become that divine instrument. Again, it doesn't take any energy healing training or meditation experience, just a subtle level of awareness of who we are in relation to another. And in a nutshell, I feel like that's exactly what the point of karma yoga, being an instrument and showing up in the world. Ultimately, if this is something that becomes our path, and this is something that's become my path, I do it on a collective level. So I do a lot of work with the earth grids. It's not stuff I get financially compensated for, but I do receive spiritual compensation, and I'm balancing those energies, and I believe it's why I'm here. So it's the most important thing, and I think we all have those divine missions, and they're all going to be slightly different, but we come together as a group at different times. I think that's so beautiful, especially because you're all here at a store where we're really trying to share spirituality in Los Angeles in a new way. Like, you're all going to be on spiritual paths in your own way, and it's not someone else's way. You don't need to take a class or an expensive training to find out what it is. It's usually the place that has been the hardest, the place you've suffered the most. That's your purpose. So when I was able to realize that, how I related to others and giving back was my purpose, everything became aligned. And I essentially transmuted myself and became the 0 point field. So I hope some of that makes some sense. It's one of those things, you'll know it when it's happening, and when you're in it, you'll feel it. Divine love should feel expansive, like huge, and just happy for no reason, Not something someone tells you, you gotta go do this, you should be doing that, you should be giving your money here. That's not giving back as an instrument. That has a lot of negative energy around it, and you know what I mean, like resistance. It's something that brings you peace, even if it's like smiling at children, or being that anchor for your family. It's a big one. So if you guys are open to it, can I guide you in like a 20-minute meditation? It'll be an excerpt from the meditation I do here called the Soul's Path. So with the Soul's Path meditation I do here, I do combine a little bit of energy healing techniques that I do in the store as a Reiki practitioner. You probably are all familiar with Reiki. I do quantum healing and pranic healing. So it's just basically the measurement of energy. I check channels and stuff. So with the Soul's Path meditation, I'm going to bring you guys into the 0 point field. So you can actually experience in your own way. There's no right, no wrong way. There's no expectations. It just is. Everything that occurs and you experience is meant to be. It's meant to be that way. And the more insight and deeper you go into that experience, that's where you'll find yourself, like your divine self. And that's all that matters, right? Integrating that. But that doesn't have to happen overnight or after one amazing retreat. You know, it's a path. It's meant to happen. That's why we're here, a journey. And hopefully we can like have stores like this and meet cool people. I met her a few weeks ago during Westsack Fest, and we never met before. And we had this like, I felt like a bonding experience. So it was pretty cool because we were aligned vibrationally. So that's kind of how you know you're showing up in the world, when you vibrationally align with someone. It could be friends, loved ones, and then kind of, you know, rotate out. No expectations, you know? Okay, so I'm just drink some water, and then why don't you guys just go ahead and close your eyes. Bring yourself back into this space. I like that we're just kind of, you know, quick charge meditating, just how we are. You don't need to prepare or do any special breath. Hands on your lap in just a receptive position. That's always great. Or down on your thighs. That's great too. Just kind of find your space within your body. Find your body. It can be through your breath. I find the breath being a little challenging as it changes so much. If it's easier for you, you can focus on the base of your spine. That's very grounding. Since you're on a chair, everyone's on chairs. Just kind of, when I say bring your consciousness, your awareness to that base as it connects to the chair, there's no other place than in your body you'll be at that moment, at this moment, here and now. So we're all present. As we're all present here together, we create an energy container. It's a powerful place to be, because this is the place we manifest from. Right here, right now. Nowhere else. This is where our divine power lies. Allow yourself to feel the chair beneath your bottom. Allow yourself to know the ground is beneath the chair. The ground will support you. It's always there. Allow the chair to support you as we turn our gentle gaze inwards. In this moment, you are safe. Feel the solid strength of the ground beneath your feet. The conscious knowing it is there. The ground is beneath your feet. Trust in this. Allow yourself to drop roots down to the sacred core of the earth. with a gentle pulling down. Allow yourself to just let go. Release any tension you've been holding. Intend that it go down to the center of the earth, as it should. Feel yourself being held by her, by the earth, like a child. Know that you are safe, protected, here, now, in this moment. So return your attention to the base of your spine. Visualize or sense a warm golden ball of light begin to form. Taking a slow, deliberate breath, gently allow this golden light to rise up your body, up your central channel, and up and out the top of your crown. As it connects with the divine light, bringing this golden sphere of light back down your central channel and returning it again to the base of your spine. Allow this golden sphere of light to grow bigger, brighter. Again, raising this golden orb up your central channel and out the top of your crown. Bringing it back down with each exhale, or with intention, to the base of your spine. Allow this golden orb to expand. Warming up your entire being with the energy of the solar logos, life force. Simply allow this light to penetrate every part of your entire being, raising this massive golden light again up your body and out the top of your crown. As this light fills the entire space, this container we've created around us, and let go. Sense this golden energy, this warm light, expanding outwards, effortlessly, with ease. Growing bigger and brighter even, till this golden solar light fills the entire room, entire Liberate. Every wall, corner, ceiling, floor, filled with golden light emanating with ease, effortlessly. No need to try, just let go. Here, now, in this moment, simply become the light. We are now one collectively with this divine light. It's in this divine light that we are loved, just as we are. No expectations. It's within this divine light that we are supported. At all times, regardless of who we are in the physical world. In this divine light, we are powerful beyond measure. As we show up as our sacred, divine, true self. Within this divine light, we are bliss, joyful, light like a child. It's who we truly are. In this divine light, we're safe to let go. What's been holding us back from saying what we want to say, doing what we would truly love to do, or just being in peace. Give it back to the light. It's within this divine light we are mindful, present, with full conscious awareness of who we are and how we show up in the world. First for ourselves and then for others. Letting go other people's thoughts, expectations, or judgments. We make space to more fully fill up with our own divine light. Trusting that you are here now, precisely where you're meant to be. And always. There are no mistakes on the path. Only seeking greater alignment, more balance, the true self. Within this divine light, we find peace, stillness, regardless of what's happening around us. This is this space that is always within us, all time. The space of source consciousness. That was a test. It's okay to laugh, and as we become more comfortable with this space, this place of stillness that can take some yogis a lifetime to reach. It's here right now with us all. This is the place we show up from in the world. Also known as non-attachment. Space of consciousness from the heart can only grow and expand bigger and bigger, infinitely, until we all merge. I'm going to ask to integrate the energy for everybody here now. All levels, physical, integrate, etheric, emotional, mental, Buddhic at the heart, Atmic, galactic, and so on. Releasing anything that is not our own true energy for our best and highest good. Just letting it go back to the light. With ease and grace now, gently begin to draw your conscious awareness back towards your body. Let your whole body be your breath. Sometimes in a space of high vibration, you might notice your breath ceases, but you're breathing through your subtle body. So notice the temperature in the room, the sounds in the space. Let them anchor you back to this space, to this present moment, pulling this divine energy, this light, back towards your body, back towards your breath, and anchoring it in right behind your belly button, your navel, to your chi storage area. That is your personal power. Reaffirm the base of your spine upon the seat. Notice your earth cord is still gently anchored into the earth beneath you. A gentle pulling down. With any excess energy, you can release it down to the earth through your hands or your feet. Just intend blessing the earth. As we bless the earth energetically, she blesses us in return with abundance, rejuvenation. You feel ready, back to your body in this present moment. You can gently wiggle your fingers, your toes, if any part felt disconnected, and coming back with peace to this present moment where we've been all along. Namaste. That's like the short version. Usually the long version, ooh, I just touched the mic, goes for like, we go for an hour and we download morphic fields. I haven't actually had a group this big in my meditations. Usually it's like 3 of us. So we make a circle and we meditate as a group. I feel like it's the energy of the collective, because what I did like energetically is I brought our light together. So we were actually not meditating like individually, like separate from the group. We meditate as a group. So that's more powerful, obviously, all of our energy. And also it's the way I feel like I'm here to help the world. You know, it's energetically in that way. And I think anyone can do this. You can go to public spaces, meditate, you know, in the waiting room of a hospital, like observe, notice the children. It's always a lot of children in emergency rooms at hospitals, and the people suffering, you know, and in those moments being grateful that we're in a different space than that, and we can just show up in that peace. It affects. My favorite thing is to ride the subway, the red line, at 6 o'clock as it goes from downtown to Hollywood. People are, they're in a rush. It's after work, it's crowded, it smells. But it doesn't matter. I just sit there and I just kind of emanate and bless the space, the subway. And I always get smiles from people. Like, you know, LA, we don't connect usually. We don't look at each other. We're like at our phone, or like, you know, we barely even look at our friends sometimes when we're out. We're just, because we're on our phone. We know they're there, but it's a way to connect through the heart, and and I just think we're all capable of it. You guys are the top of the line. Like, we're here to do this. So in our own way, nobody taught me that. That was just something I learned on my path, apart from all the classes and the trainings and the certifications. This is how I use it to show up. So if you guys have any questions, I know I kind of jumped around a little bit with what I was sharing, but I'm open. Yes. Oh wait, I'm supposed to give you the microphone.
Hello.
Hi.
I was curious, you mentioned earlier the difference between pranic healing and
Reiki? Quantum healing?
Yeah, all 3. I just was curious about.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. So Reiki, I think, is probably the most commonly heard of, developed by Dr. Usui. And with Reiki, there's different lineages, which are different forms of Reiki. You've probably heard of Usui Reiki. Basically, in a nutshell, what all the different forms of Reiki are different vibrations. So when the practitioner is channeling to the client who's laying down or sitting down, or we can work remotely from a distance, doesn't matter, we're tapping into the energy field, and we use symbols in Reiki. Reiki is very symbol oriented, and a lot of times they're kanji, Japanese symbols. I've even seen some symbols that are just channeled. They're not actually words, they're just channeled from different healers. And each symbol carries a vibration that's been programmed. That sounds a little woo, but so like Karuna Reiki, I don't use it too much on others, but I've used it a lot with myself. It's good for karma clearing. So there's certain symbols that can be really good for balancing karma, and it's just really fascinating. It does feel different if you're sensitive to energy, and not everybody senses energy even through clairsentience, through sensation. Some smell it, see it, hear it, just have a conscious knowing. Doing meditations like what we just did will help you become more in tune and aligned with how you receive your energy, how you sense, and how you receive your guidance, because that's also how you're going to receive your guidance. So yeah, with Reiki, It's basically different vibrations of energy, but it's focused on channeling. So we channel the Reiki energy, which is divine energy. It's all the same thing, different names. It's a conscious energy. So the practitioner, it's about surrendering and letting go, not so much doing techniques and protocols. We kind of, keep a clear channel. A good practitioner will keep a very clear channel. No drinking, no smoking, vegetarian if possible, because the energy, they become that instrument, that channel of light that the Reiki energy flows through. So the cleaner they are and the bigger soul, bigger chakras, the more high vibration they can bring through to the client, which hopefully becomes transformative and for the client, so that they don't need to work on the same issue every time it's cleared. With Pranic Healing, which we do here, I volunteer at the clinic each week, and Anna does Pranic Healing as well. It was created by Grandmaster Choakok Usui. He was this amazing guru from the Philippines. He's no longer incarnate in body, but he's left behind this massive lineage and a school, essentially, of how to measure and quantify energy. That sounds right? Yeah, it's genius, because sometimes science says, I can't see it, I can't touch it, like it doesn't exist. I'm like, ooh, science and metaphysics, I suppose, or quantum field, it's two sides of the same coin. You can scan it. He's developed a system of scanning. Basically, it's similar to kinesiology. You guys probably have heard of muscle testing. I tend to do a form of scanning that's muscle testing. You can, same with the pendulum, you can just determine yes and no. So, over time, as you get better and you learn the techniques, you develop your own systems. So you're able to measure somebody's energy body and their chakras, and you know exactly the conditions they're in and where to go. So it's like energy medicine, you're going right there. And then we use a set of techniques and protocols that have been proven effective over and over and over by the healing masters from Pranic Healing community. And we apply those. So it is very structured in that way, different than Reiki. Same energy source, divine energy. We always invoke our energy, our higher self and guides and the Supreme Being. But it's very focused on, like getting to the root, which is great. Getting to the root, clearing it, removing it, and then filling up that space with divine energy. That's how I quit smoking after 21 years, in a few days. And not by intending to go and I need to quit smoking. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It bothered other people. I just did enough clearing through a particular protocol to bring balance. I was really trying to bring my life into a balance of those two extremes that I was talking about, the 0 point field. That was a side effect. The side effect was quitting addictions. Like any form of addiction just was non-existent. It's hard to explain. It just was removed. And that could have been, it just happened to be smoking was my main addiction. To sugar was another one, Starbucks, like anything, it doesn't matter how big or small it is in the quantum field. It just is. It's just addiction. We just clear it. It's that easy. So never lose hope that you can have help, or a loved one can find help outside of Western medicine. They can. With quantum healing, it's something I've been developing on my own. I haven't taken any specific workshops that taught me quantum healing, but I work in the quantum field, the 0 point field and the energy field. I work with angelic rays of energy, and that's also a lot on my personal journey outside of the store with the earth. Gosh, I don't really know how to explain it. Basically, one of my specialties Christina put on our business cards here is activations. I do activations. So that could be something like a higher self activation. It's connecting you with your divine aspects. Activating I'm doing a new thing here, a new service I'm offering called programs or energy activations, where it can, if you're having a struggle, an issue, actually program myself on the way here with divine strength and confidence, so that it's not a quick fix, but it gives you a boost out of what the issue is, with the depletion. So I was depleted in that energy, because that's not my strong suit, is to be in my, confidence and be up here, la la la. So when I programmed the energy through the techniques I use to be in my divine strength and divine power. It just gave me that balance. It literally always comes back to balance. It doesn't make us like crazy powerful and like dangerous or witches, or it's nothing like that. Ultimately, you cannot go wrong with healing any kind of energy work, if your ultimate goal to seek is balance. And yeah, so the programs, I know it's kind of a big thing, but they're going to be on the website, and it's great if you need some for grounding. We can do a quick program. It takes like 15-20 minutes. For my friend who works here as a hypnotherapist, sometimes she feels a little disconnected, and I do a program for her crown for illumination, for guidance, because she's so good at what she does, but she doubts. So I'm like, that when she talks to me and guides me, it's amazing. But when it comes to someone else, that resistance comes up. So I create a program for her crown for illumination, divine guidance, and it just opens it up and allows her, it's through an activation. And I wish I knew how to explain it better. I'll get better at that. But it's one of those things you just experience. You know when you're experiencing it. But yeah, it has to do with resonance, the morphic field of resonance, which is what crystals do. That's how we work with crystals, through resonance, vibrational resonance. And it's along the same quantum field of what programming and activations are. You'll see on our calendar all the time, people are doing different like workshops here where they program you for the golden frequency, or I don't know, different shamanic stuff. So we're all working in the morphic field. We just have our own specialty. So yeah, I hope that makes some sense. I like to check the channels, and this is my natural state, to be able to feel people's channels and see them. So to me, it's really simple. I can easily sense it when we're in a session. So it just takes time to be able to like sense that, if that was something even someone was interested in doing. But yeah, it exists. It's there. So yeah. Yes. Oh, microphone.
I got a question first.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, it's not more a question. Well, it is a question. I'm pretty good with energy. I could pick up on colors and auras when I see a person, but it's more so like a storyline. If you've seen a show called That's So Raven, I did that with people. So if I talk to you for like 2 seconds, I get like a story.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's called, but it's weird. It's like I can't control it, but it always happens every day, all day. So, and I'm a DJ, so when it's a room full of people,
okay,
it's easier for me to like control the vibration part.
Yeah. It sounds like you're a natural intuitive empath. And we've all heard of being empathic, where it's more than just like feeling, kindness for somebody. It's when you're actually sensing the energy of what it's like to experience that individual. And you're getting psychic hits, psychic data. So it's stuff, if the stories are to do with this physical realm, like you could get stories about what their struggles are in life. It could be emotional sometimes too. You kind of see whatever they're dealing with in their life, what their struggles are, their hopes, their dreams. It all lives in our etheric layer, just like right here, all of us. So you're picking up on all that. So like a lot to do with your purpose will be to work with that, because that's a gift. It can sometimes feel overwhelming at first, no doubt, because we're not taught how to work with this stuff unless you end up in a class that you're like, but even that, I don't believe these things can be taught. They're innate, and everybody has their innate gift. So yeah, it's really beautiful. Those are ways you can connect with people in that way. Yeah, but that's usually psychic data. If you're getting spiritual hits, that can become more in the form of like guides, spirit. When people talk about, oh, I'm getting guidance from my spirit guides. I don't think I said that once today, thinking, but it's like, oh, or they say this. You'll hear people, they said that, they say this. You're like, who's they? Like, my spirit guides. You're like, where are they? It's just spiritual hits, or like mediumship, transmedium. But yeah, psychic data is really beautiful. It really allows you to connect on the physical realm with people. And since you have that higher level of awareness, which you came into this world with, it was something you've probably worked with before in other lifetimes. So that's, gives you that inner connection with people. It's really beautiful. Of course.
Yeah, my question is, because that was the first time I really like meditated
Oh, yeah?
with people. You know,
Wow.
I just tried to do it like by myself.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of studying, and the thing that I have trouble with is trying to see that ball of light. You know what I'm saying? You feel the things, but then it's like when I try to focus in on the light, and it's almost like I feel things moving in and out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like people touching me or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like distracts me from being able to, I don't know if that distracts me from being able to focus and really see, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I was wondering if you had any type of method other than the method that you demonstrated, like for people like myself, like do you have like a more keener method to help a person really try to see that light?
So it's funny because while you're talking and sharing this experience, I'm having a massive deja vu. Like this has happened before.
What happened before?
Yes. So it's funny because this is how we're all in this like spiritual open space at this moment, and hopefully continue on, but because we're open right now to each other. So like this has happened before, and you've asked this question. It was meant to be. And like the experience you're having is perfect. There's no wrong way to experience energy. A lot of people, even pranic healers, because they tell us, they can't even feel energy. There's, different forms of picking up on energy. You guys have probably heard of, clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance. Those are the common ones. I tend to smell energy, which is a new thing. It's a little weird. But feeling energy is all that matters. So yeah, if the guide in the meditation, says to visualize, I try to remember, like, just because to me that might be a natural element to visualize it, to sense it in any way that the golden ball of light, that's actually taken from oh man, I should have got his name. There's I think a Chinese Zen master who developed that. It's a tantric meditation where you raise the golden energy, the life force within, up your crown. You could do it with the breath, but I find when we're in a high vibration, the breath is like not always very aware. You're not breathing. You're breathing, but you don't feel it. So this really gets you to sense the subtle energy immediately. So the technique, it can be used in any way. If you feel like you would like to be able to use your, inner sight, I would say, just intend by practicing, seeing auras. It's funny because a lot of people think being clairvoyant is better or cooler. Honestly, there's nothing more special about being able to see energy. It's different for everyone. Like it could be a powerful clairsentient being, and that's how you feel energy. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. The thing too, just a little note, because I know there are a lot of videos on YouTube. I've watched them all. When we're on our spiritual journey, we want to open our third eye. So it's not what it seems. We have 2 chakras on our forehead, our ajna and our third eye. Most of us don't use our third eye or our forehead. We use our ajna, which is the area between the brow. So when you're actually getting a spiritual activation, you'll feel a pressure between your eyebrows, or when you're receiving a healing, you'll feel a pulling. That's normal. That's between your ajna. That's all that we really need. For high-level clairvoyants that use their forehead, it doesn't usually happen overnight. Even if they were born that way, most of them have gone through trauma that have caused them to close it down. Because we will see the energy clairvoyantly that we're at a vibrational match with. So if somebody's in a vibrational state of suffering, of stress, of grief, they're going to see energy out in the collective that matches that. It can show up in like some dark feeling things. It's not all just light and fairies and angels. So it's one of those things, when I use it, it's just in healing. And I don't walk around seeing things at all. So it's not like I see glowing all the time. Only when we're doing crystal healing. No, and we're in it, and it helps show me the chakra, show me the cord. It's a tool. That's it. It's a tool. It doesn't make anyone better or worse. But I know there's a huge amount online about opening your third eye and stuff, but it's really not a big deal. So cultivate the strength you have, because that's your power. So I hope that.
Part
Yeah.
to that is, after like I meditate, sometimes I can get it to where I can release a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But it's like afterwards, I always see like light behind people. You know what I'm saying? Like though I can never see my own. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if other people tell me they see it, but like I be wanting to see it myself too. You know what I'm saying?
Have somebody take a photograph of you. You'll see it.
I took a million photographs. I still never see it. But
Really?
If I watch
It's
TV,
there.
or I
It's
watch
ephemeral. Yeah.
different shows, like I even see it then, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I see the light behind people, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what is that? Like,
It's the auric field, honestly. We all have them. So whether we are in a moment of being able to see it or not, it's still there, our aura. So the cleaner we are, that's what we do in pranic healing. The first step is to clear the aura. And like some of the words I might say will just won't maybe make sense, but we clear it of congestion, of gray energy. Try not to use the word negative too much because that has a negative connotation. We all have gray in our aura. It's just other people's thoughts, other people's worries, our stresses from the day. Even today earlier, I was getting like nervous in advance when nothing had happened. Like, what am I getting nervous about failing? It was irrational. So that ends up clouding my aura, and that part that would be just like glowy, that luminosity just kind of dims a little. So it doesn't make it a bad, I'm not, don't have an entity. I just go about doing some techniques or ask a good friend to do some clearing for you. And it brings back the clarity, the light. So I'm more able to connect with who I am, my divine energy, your divine energy, rather than all this stuff, the EFTs, they say, or the TFEs, thoughts, feelings, and emotions, or energies of others. And that's ultimately what a healing will provide for you, that cleanliness, it's energetic hygiene. But yeah, I mean, as far as seeing it, it's there, I don't think that's necessarily maybe the most important thing. If it's not something, if something you ask for and it's not happening, ask your guides what it is they want you to work with, what they want you to focus on. Because maybe, clear seeing initially, at least, with your eyes open, that's called subjective. Objective is when your eyes are closed, and that's how you see energy. So.
Okay, can I ask one more?
I hope this helps.
Know that it's your guides.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Not other negative.
Right, lower vibration.
Or other, entities that's kind of trying to attach themselves to you and block you from your guides, or interfere with your guides for their own personal whatever. I just feel like when I try to communicate with the guys, situations just get worse. So I be like, I know my guys can't be making the situation worse for me. There got to be something else that's intervening and in a way that, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. When we meditate and ask for guidance, I think even when I didn't have any connection to my guides for a while, it doesn't mean they're not there. I just wasn't able to communicate with them. And that's actually what the meditation, the soul's path, really helps with, because we're in that sacred space where we're able to receive guidance the way we're meant to receive it innately, through sensing or sight or hear or just knowing. I feel like you probably have also a strong claircognizance, just a conscious knowing. That's also known as intuition. Sometimes we can doubt ourselves a lot though, and doubt what we're receiving is true. I feel like at least when I invoke, or when we invoke before a healing or even a meditation, I didn't do a huge invocation this time, but ask, command, instruct. You don't have to yell and like say, it must be this, just command. I only communicate with 100% light, with the angels of light. I go straight to the Supreme Being. Again, there's many names for it. God, Creator, Source. Another practice that we call True Source. Whatever name, it doesn't matter. It's the intention, and it really truly is your heart. Again, not to be like cliche or anything, but bring your awareness back to your heart, and ask if you want to communicate with your guides. Also begin with your higher self. Your higher self is your higher soul, higher self, same thing. It's your highest, it's the bridge, the operator that connects you to source. I think that's the best way to explain it. So we've got us, our higher self, and then source. So that's where the communication comes through. And it's with you all the time, your higher self.
Explain things like so.
Yeah?
Like unique.
Really? Okay. I hope that helps. I feel like you already have the answers. You know this. Yeah, don't doubt it.
I don't want to ask, but I don't want to take up the whole thing.
Oh, it's okay. I know I should write like little blogs about stuff or something. Thank you though for asking. Hi.
Hi. I just had some techniques that I wanted to share
Yes.
that I thought might be pertinent to your question. I've been working with energy and just been allowing myself to, follow through with my intuition. And for a while I was between separating light and dark, and then I kind of recognized that they were both leading me to a place of light. One thing that I really enjoy doing to clear my light body is just staring up into the blue sky and just being like completely drenched in the sun. And when I look up into the blue sky for a long period of time at first, but now I can see it like quite clearly immediately, I think I can see the prana, and what it is, it's like you can see these little dots moving in the sky. They're like little black, little white dots. And if you just meditate underneath the sun and you just like allow yourself to soak in that energy, I feel like that's a good way to charge your light body. And then when your light body's overflowing, then you might start seeing like pools of light like coming out of yourself or out of other people. And I think it's Montauk Chia who wrote the books about the circulation of the breath through the body. So you bring it through the nose and through the front side of the body, and then bring it down through the root, and you can like activate your pelvic floor there, and then continue to bring the light breath energy up through your back. That's like circulating it down the front, up the back, bringing it up to the crown. And that's just a good way to like channel the light energy and just sort of like harness it, because sometimes like we have so much energy that starts overflowing, and it's like, if you're on the yoga path and you're not, you're like being a little more like just cognizant with like how you're sharing yourself, your energy, like your friendship energy, like your sexual energy, like your containers are, bolstering, your boundaries are kind of like becoming more in tune, then you start having like these overflows of light energy because you're using your energy better now, and like that comes with responsibility as well. So it's just like doing the techniques that allow you to like channel that and not have it overflowing too much so. And then another really good technique to see your own light body, just stare in the mirror and get really close to the mirror. And like if you have a sink and you have and you can crawl up on there and even like sit and like get into the mirror, then just let your eyes kind of like, you can start meditating on your third eye, keep your eyes open, and then let your eyes kind of like, go a little bit like a magic eye book, or like you're trying to see something beyond what's like immediately there. And you'll start seeing lineage, ancestry, whatever you want to see. And it's, there's different like frames, there's different lenses, so there will be dark energy, and at all times, it's like it'd be nice if we could go out and just experience light energy all day, every day, and everyone was just like super sweet and amazing. But I think that there's so much to learn from the dark energy as well, and there's so much light in that, and the two things aren't without each other. So just respecting the dark and like staring fear in the face and like moving toward it, because like
it's
goal
about
is to push you back from it.
It's about integration, ultimately. Integrating, yeah. Thank you.
Just wanted to
Absolutely.
say some of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to integrate the dark and light. We could go on for hours about this kind of stuff, literally, like. But yeah. Go ahead. Thank you.
I found it really engaging how his third question was very close in nature to the question that I was about to present. I feel like what the DSM-5 or what Western psychology might classify as like obsessive compulsive disorder, because I feel a lot of times I have, and it's hard to grapple with because at times it feels like a blessing that there is a voice or a guide directing me in a notion of safety, but at times it can feel very inhibiting and very detrimental to my health and wellness, like just based on like how blood pressure and the way that the terminology that your mind uses to force you to do a different option or to perform something differently.
Yeah.
Whether it's something as simple as choosing a different ice cream container from the one that's the most accessible to you, the one that's like 3 options back. Because I listened to Jamie Clayton on a podcast share this like same intention. She said, you know, it led me beautiful places. I never challenged my voice, and now I'm here in this area of success. And I find us to have some level of kindredness. And it was really illuminating in a way, because there was something very similar in the way that you described channeling and controlling a ball of light that is dynamic and expands at will. And a lot of times this voice, this guide that is paired with the obsessive compulsive desire for safety and for rooted security will lead me in this like specter of like what kind of looks like a Ferrero Rocher ball, like it's golden and illustrious, and it's even, and it's sort of like a promise that if I follow the directions, that I will end up in a place that is stable and secure, and that I can use the primary modes of my abilities to ensure my survival in this sort of capitalist hellscape, and for the next 70 years that I'll be alive. So
it's interesting you bring this up, because I also have a long past of obsessive compulsive disorder. So I'm really glad you asked this, because like it's important and it's part of your journey. It's part of your path. Like, to give you like simple energetic answers, if this is simple, it can be, we can find our balance pretty quickly. Usually it has to do with being in chronic reverse polarity. So I was scanning you, and okay, so the earth has a magnetic field, right? Positive, negative, not good and bad, just positively charged, negatively charged. When our bodies, so do our bodies, we're synchronized with the earth. When our bodies are flipped in reverse polarity, this can also end up in something like called bipolar depression, feelings of mania and low. It's not even so emotional, it's cyclical, whatever. So it's because a lot of us probably who deal with this in an important way were born that way due to a family member who also is in chronic reverse polarity. So it ends up feeling like we're up here, because energetically we are up here, and it can feel really hard to ground. Those are just little symptoms where like it's hard to ground. It feels like we're connecting to the galactic field, the outermost layer, and it can just be very dysregulating, right? That's the end goal. The why, is seeking the process of how to find balance again. It's a beautiful thing, because it will lead you to your purpose. When I learned about some techniques I use in my healing to help chronic reverse polarity, which end up incidentally helping with OCD, not curing OCD or healing OCD. We're not doctors and we're not miracle workers, but we bring the balance to the energy body by running your energy correctly with the earth, like we all should be, like magnetized, not two positively charged magnets that are repelling but connected. It will bring balance, and all those side effects like OCD, the little, compulsive stuff, it's not there anymore. It falls away. So it's not a punishment or a curse or a disease. It can just feel, it's very ephemeral even in and of itself. I've been to some classes and I can recognize when I've seen people in public who've suffered from like TTM or different forms of OCD. And it's so, it's so kind of almost absurd in a way to even discuss out loud, because you're like, how do you not control it? Well, it's not our faults. We're in reverse polarity, but it's energetically really easy to fix. I shouldn't say fix, to find balance, because there's nothing wrong with us when we're like that. We're just it also, because we're so in our upper chakra and crown, all the energy going to the head. I was in chronic reverse polarity, still with OCD, when I began channeling. So my hair turned white for a while, like white, like Master Choa. Like all the energy was going up to my crown. So I became very like I was walking on a cloud. So I just needed to, I learned some traditional Chinese medicine techniques, tapping. Now I do a specific technique that instantly grounds me and runs my channels direct. So it does take time. You might find you wake up, you go to sleep feeling okay, you manage, you grounded, anchored in the present, go to sleep, you wake up again in reverse polarity. Like there's little signs and symptoms, if you'll know, and it can just be very dysregulating and hard to start the day. A lot of times there's a purpose in that, a learning to be present. It's super, super important. Also very common in starseed and advanced souls to leave the body in our sleep, travel, astral journey, again, a whole nother topic, and not come back fully into our body. So it leaves us in that feeling of reverse polarity, which have symptoms of OCD and things like that. Because OCD isn't the problem, that's just a symptom of it, of being imbalanced. I know it's a huge topic, and I don't even know if I'm qualified to talk too much about like OCD on a psychological level, but energetically, bringing your system into balance and correcting your magnetic fields will really change your life. I remember the first time I was grounded, a guy was doing some just basic healing on me. I'm like, oh, everything looks different. I was looking at people, I was like, I can see people. It was like the difference from being out there, wherever, and present. It was profound. And I wanted to stay that way. And of course, it was a journey because I go to sleep, wake up in reverse polarity again, like dissociated kind of feeling, which caused a lot of those little things to occur. But yeah, I hope that helps a little and makes sense. And
I think it did completely, because
okay.
It was hard for me to use like the lexicon that I had currently with spiritual matters and how it relates to the detectable impulses that you feel within the body. Because when the guide, although I brought up it feeling like a blessing, it was kind of wagering mistakes that I made in the past and discovery of those mistakes by other people against me. So like if you do not commit this action, this will be found out and you will enter a period of darkness and I hate to use like darkness like that.
I know what you mean. It's existential.
Yeah, but that period of just soft, like bruised up, and like you cannot mobilize yourself or communicate with other people because you're so caught up in what feels like a selfish exploration of your past being projected back into your face constantly. So it's hard for me to know whether or not what's being said to me is for good or if it is for the detriment of not just myself but the people around me. And I sing, and I've been undergoing like a throat problem, so it's been hard for me to fully express myself. I just want to make sure that I'm going through all the processes responsibly and not sort of like seeking out like a fast or expedited method of that healing, because I don't want to. Part of me feels like losing the voice would be like losing something that is like a companion, and maybe that's not like a good remnant of that I want to keep. But I do appreciate you like confiding in that sort of that whole process and the whole ritual that it feels like. It just occurs intermittently, and sometimes you can go a long period of time without experiencing that, and then you'll like find yourself weighed with all these like options.
Right.
Fears.
Yeah, the interesting thing too with like hearing the voice, different things, you're just like, oh, like how can I say this without like making things up or going into like a theoretical place? Like it could be this, could be that, because I understand what that voice was, and for me it wasn't always a very nice one. It tended to go to the dark place immediately with ease. I was very imbalanced, and I was in my shadow most of my life up until a few years ago. I was 100% in my shadow aspect, which didn't make me a bad person, but maybe I didn't make very good decisions. So again, as our friend here said, it's about integrating the shadow with the light. And even the words shadow and light, we as humans were like, good, bad, good angel, demon. Like, it's just not like that. It's all source energy. It's all love. So just have compassion for yourself, number one. Like, right? So just know, like, when you're on your path and you stay connected to your heart, you can only be led by the light. What's happening is meant to happen. I find the journey, like working as a healer, like so cool, because like it's that I never like went to university or graduate school. This has been my education, like working with my guidance on how to heal myself. I'm my greatest experiment. But it's helped me like to be able to connect, and I'm telling you, like, balance things that Western medicine could not touch. They wouldn't even discuss it. It was like frustrating feeling like you know more than them, and them just think you're crazy or something, you know what I mean? It's just, they don't, you need to go to the balancing of the energy. Another thing it sounds like too is when we're dominantly in the upper chakras energetically, when we're in reverse polarity, we tend to have a lot of thought forms. We're being highly aware. You have a high level of awareness, probably claircognizant. It's one of your ways of sensing energy. So you hear everything, or as I like to call the fourth dimension, where all energy is. To get from the third, physical, to the fifth, as they always say on pop culture, we're ascending to the fifth dimension, to the light. It's only 2 dimensions up. There's over 300 dimensions. We need to go through the fourth. And that's where I think collectively, energetically, we are right now as a world in the fourth dimension, where we have access to the light, to the way out. The end of suffering is the Four Noble Truths. But everything else exists too. It's like in a big pot. So by keeping our energy clear, pure, I like to just make it simple, stay heart-centered, because that's the way that will connect quickest to source energy, to the consciousness of love. It's the quickest way to the fifth, and just up and out of all this stuff. So you're like experiencing through that voice. It is your voice. It's your intuition. It's not good or bad. I would say when connecting with the higher self aspect, it's the part that connects straight to source energy. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's probably something that you can work with and would get great relief from. So I'm being prompted to close. I know, it's fascinating talking about this stuff, right?
Truly.
Yeah, I know.
We only have like 9 minutes left and then it cuts.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, yeah, I think it's cool that we got to like pop around topics too, because when I talk with like friends and stuff, this is kind of what we talk about, just like, you know, the nature of reality, consciousness, existential, and like we bring all of the issues and important things that we're dealing with, but in a really spiritual place that's very non-dogmatic, non-judgmental. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's about finding the solution through balance, through and that is so powerful in the world right now. Not, you know, I wrote about this last summer when there was like a traumatic event in LA, and like everyone was getting so upset and angry, like resist this and that. I'm like, whoa, we're like trying to like attack things again. It only creates more resistance. Attack. It's about finding that balance, and it really is a peaceful way to exist and show up in the world. And I guess that's what bringing that union is. So yeah, it's a journey. Well, it's a journey. Just kidding. But yeah, thank you guys for coming and for letting me talk. It never happens. I'm just kidding.